Hello everyone! Your favorite fabulous Fairy Shaenna here today, and we're going to be talking about how magic has changed my life several times over. And it definitely has. So I'll give the short, quick answer real quick, and then I'll give the long expanded version at the end. The short answer is, how has magic changed my life? It's changed it in every way you can possibly think. From the confidence in myself, the confidence in the world around me, the way people treat me and interact with me, which that's been both positive and negative through this whole thing, depending on who the person is. But how I've learned to deal with that has definitely changed. The way I think about money, the way I think about life and its possibilities, the way that I think about people and energy, the way I see things, everything has changed. Literally everything in my life has changed because of magic. And so, and I apologize, I've got the fan going, I kind of have to keep it going, so my bad. But, okay, so I grew up in a household where my mother let us have an open mind, kind of, but her background was super religious, and my great-grandparents who we lived with were super religious, and her mom was super religious, and my other grandparents went to church, and everybody went to church and did their own thing. There was Pentecostal people, there was, like Southern Baptist holy roller type people. There was people with like their hair in buns and like the long skirts, and you didn't wear makeup, and you didn't talk about ghosts or spirits, and you didn't talk about, you know, X, Y, and Z. There was all this stuff going on, but then for some reason they said angels were real and demons were real, but you couldn't talk about ghosts. And I kept seeing things. They didn't want me talking about the fairies I saw. They didn't want me talking about the gnomes or the shadow people or the feelings that I got. They didn't want me doing premonitions, and if I did them, and I was around my great-grandmother, and she heard me saying anything about anything like that, and it happened to be true, I would then get in trouble for being right, and maybe I spied somehow, or I did something devious that I shouldn't have been doing in order to get that information. It was no possibility, it was just actually coming from me. So that led to some switchings and whippings and this and that, and so I basically shut myself off. I didn't shut myself off for real, but I shut myself off from the people around me. I kept my own private world to myself. I sat there and watched the spirits dance around, and I just didn't say anything to anybody, and I would get feelings and know things, and I maybe would write it down or maybe draw a picture about it, but you weren't going to get me to say anything about it, because if I did, I was going to get in trouble, so I didn't want that. I basically shut out communication with the outside world on that, and just kept my little bubble to myself. Through my teenager years and stuff like that, I was rebellious, and sometimes I would do things that I knew were magic or witchy, in the way that I just had a compulsion that, oh, I needed to light this candle, and it, you know, kind of be like positive and and put all this energy into it, and I needed to set up my dresser a certain way, and I started collecting stones, and I started collecting potion bottles and glass objects and weird little things that at the time I was just infatuated with all this stuff, and I always knew I liked things that were spooky. Other things that people would turn their head away from or be scared about or worried for, I would be like, wow, that's so interesting. I would love to be there. Hey, how you doing? And so as this devotion kind of developed more and more, my secret world of seeing things and knowing things and learning things, I allowed myself to learn more. I allowed myself to learn from myself more. I allowed myself to keep an ear open and an eye open. Eventually, I met my now husband, Robbie, and we dated for a while. We dated for like 8 months, and then, like most twin flame couples, we went through a separation, and it was about an 8-month separation as well. And in that time, I was looking around, and, you know, I had always been putting the part of me that I wanted to be on the back burner. That was my secret life. You know, the magic part of me was my secret life. What I was on the outside was a normal person who worked at Me and Ed's, or worked at the country club, or, you know, worked at GW, or did whatever I could that was normal. You know, I dressed normal. I did normal crap. And for the most part, I tried. And it wasn't getting me where I wanted to in life. And the little rebellions, like eventually dyeing my hair purple and pink and things like that, also weren't getting me where I wanted in life. And I was miserable, and I was depressed, and I wanted to be myself. I wanted to know what it was like to feel like I was actually myself. Like, what would that feel like because I had been under bad relationships that controlled everything I wore, said, did, everywhere I went, any money I had. I had been under just a lot of different controlling situations, and none of them I had control over. So finally, I was like, okay, if I could be anything, like they tell you when you're a little kid, you could be anything you want when you grow up, what would you be? And the first thing that always came to my mind was magic, even when I was little. And the second thing was an artist, and then, and then I'd want to be a part of nature, and like, so, as I basically became honest with myself, I said, well, you've always been magic. If I thought of something that I wanted, and I thought it too hard, somebody else in the room would get it for me. Always. Didn't matter. It could be tacos, it could be anything, pretty much, and they're going to get it for me. If I didn't want something or didn't like something, I pulled it in just as easily. I did find that out at a very young age. But I didn't necessarily correlate the fact that I was the one calling it in. I basically just thought, oh, I was a psychic. I knew that was going to happen, which is half true. But the other half is I'm sitting there obsessing over this thought that's making it happen. So there is that part. So anyways, as I grew up, as Robbie and me, we were in our separation and everything, I really took that time to just be myself 110%. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do my wardrobe new. I'm going to get all new clothes. I'm going to get exactly the clothes that I've always wanted to wear. I wanted to wear like sexy stuff and lacy stuff and go back to my gothic style and go back to, I want to wear corsets and, all that fun crap. Like, that's me. I want that, right? So then I decided to go and start making little purchases here and there. And to be completely honest, I started off getting those clothes at the thrift store because that's where I was budget-wise. And it made me feel good. And then I started practicing my magic openly and daily. And I started doing it just for myself and just kind of really enveloping everything. And I 100% for the first 2-3 years that I was doing magic, I was trying to go just off of my heart. Just off my heart. At some point in time, I want to say year 2, maybe year 3, I ran into this lady on YouTube called Jasmine Atten. She's Mystic at the Crossroads. She does hoodoo. And there was something about her, and then I found out she was a Pisces, and she's born the same day as my niece, and all this stuff. So I was like, oh, wow. And my uncle are both the 2nd. It's like a lot of people in my family are born on the 2nd. So, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And there was something about her that I could tell she wasn't BS. I was like, this woman actually is real like I'm real. Because, see, that's half of it. That's half of it. There are so many people out there that are what are called wooks and, woo-woo people who they think that, oh, I'm a witch or whatever the hell. I'm not even a witch. I'm a fairy. It's a different fucking situation. And, yeah, I got some things to back that up. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The whole point is that there's a lot of people out there going, oh, I'm magic to some degree who don't have a fucking grilled cheese sandwich worth of magic in them. They couldn't manifest a dog shit in a dog park. They couldn't manifest nothing. They couldn't predict a rainstorm in the middle of, black clouds. They couldn't, these people they just want the money part of it. And it made me sick to my stomach. And I had actually gone to a couple psychics when I was younger who were that. They wanted to know when my birthday was. They basically told me, oh, well, you're a Pisces, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then all this generic shit about being a Pisces. I'm like, well, that's really riveting. Thank you for telling me all this generic stuff. How come you're not telling me anything consequential or anything unique to myself? Instead of telling me all this generic, you have a spiritual side and dreamy nature, every Pisces creative. Every Pisces has a dreamy nature. Even if they're not creative, artistically, they're creative in science, or they're creative in math, and they're, you know what I mean? We're all the same to a degree, and then we vary in our different ways, but if you're reading me, the Reader Digest version of what a freaking dictionary Pisces is, that's what that person did, it made me really upset. So, when I saw this one woman, Jasmine Atten, on YouTube, it was the first time that I had ever gotten a feeling like, wow, this person is naturally gifted. This person got taught right by someone, and this person really is doing what needs to be done if you're going to walk this path. And I just thought that was really cool. So I started watching her stuff, and that was giving me a lot of tips on different things to try, things I had never heard of, like Florida water, bluing, floor wash, different things like that. introduced me to a palm wax candle. I didn't even know there was a palm wax type of candle. I only heard of soy and beeswax and paraffin. So anyways, that was that. So then I was in my I would call it my my learning stage, because up until this point I threw spells together and they seemed to work, but I didn't know why they were working. I didn't know why I chose cinnamon. I didn't know why I went for red. I didn't know why I went for, you know, all the things that I went for and why did it work. So this stage was kind of interesting because it let me learn more about myself and my natural gifts. It let me pick up things that I needed a teacher for that I honestly wouldn't have been able to find on my own. And if I did, who knows how long until I would have found him. Florida water, I would never pick that up. I don't even use perfume. I use essential oils. You think I'm going to go pick up a bottle of some alcohol-based water stuff, cologne, and decide to use that in Magick? Really? No, that would never have happened. So thank you very much. All credit to her, definitely. So anyways, through my learning stage now, I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to pick up books and read some books. A lot of the books have a lot of information you already know, but sometimes you learn something new, and that's kind of cool. Sometimes you learn something that you wish you didn't know, and that's kind of cool too. And so I started changing what I wanted, and I started going for different things. Okay, so before I met Robbie, I was in a really bad relationship where this guy basically tried to murder me. And he ended up murdering 2 other people like a year later, so my mom doesn't know. Okay, hopefully that's okay. Anyways, so, dude tried to kill me, and I had a broken wrist, and I was going to do this thing that I had used to do when I was in high school that seemed to work really, really well. And it was like you write lines, you write sentences over and over and over until your hand burns of something that you want, like you already have it, and it would come to me. So I used to do that in high school without anybody telling me that that was a thing. That was just something I used to do. I actually have old books. They're just stacked with just like, it looks like a psychopath, you know what I mean? But I got everything that was written down in those books, and it just like, I have this, I have da-da-da-da-da, you know. So anyways, I decided I was going to do that to get the guy who tried to kill me to be nice and treat me right. And right as my pen almost hit the paper, I thought, you idiot, what the fuck does he get to deserve? No. No, 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 no. He doesn't deserve you. He already hurt you hella times. He doesn't deserve you. I don't care if he can fucking shoot coins out his ass from here on out, and every time he sneezes, $100 bill comes out, and he's the nicest freaking guy and the best cook or whatever. He don't deserve you because of what he did to you, because he physically fucking hurt you and tried to hurt you really, really bad. He tried to kill you. So I was like, okay, change of plan. Instead of revenge on him by forcing him to love me, I'm going to call in something good to my life. And so I started doing lines of, I'm so happy and grateful that I am treasured, which is something that I had never been treasured. Nobody treasured me. I was like the house bitch. I cooked and cleaned and had sex when they wanted me to, begrudgingly, because they weren't ever nice to me. And you know what I mean? I was not living the lifestyle. I was living the like slave lifestyle. And so anyways, then I started writing I'm loved, which I didn't feel loved at that point in time. I wrote I'm treasured, I'm loved, I love myself. That one was hard to even do. That one I cried halfway through trying to write, right? And then I started writing, I'm so happy and grateful now that, you know, the perfect person for me has come into my life, and I kind of like detailed what that would be like, you know, how would those interactions go. And I read it every day with my little freaking, and by the way, I had a broken wrist while I was freaking writing this stuff out, so it took me a long time, and I cried through it, and it was painful, but it had to be done kind of a thing. And I read them every morning, and I read them every night, and I cried a lot, and I was just like, fuck. But one day, I don't know what happened, something happened, and when I read it, I just felt like it was true. I just felt like it was true, even if I knew it wasn't. I was like, no, this is all true. And it was within a month that I met Robbie, so I was like, wow, this shit can do something, because he treated me treasured, precious, love, you know, respect, the whole 9 yards. I never had a guy who respected me before in my life. Ever. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's crazy. And then, alright, so then I started doing money magic, because I loved my new life, but I was tired of being broke. And I like to eat a lot, and I like to eat out a lot, and I like to smoke top shelf weed. And I like to go places, and if I can afford to go to the place and they've got like for $15 more you can be VIP and cut the line and cut the shit and get some souvenir. I'm doing it. Like, I'd rather do that. I'd rather scrimp and save and go and do it right than not do it right. You know what I mean? So I started writing out, I'm so happy and grateful that I've gone on all these trips around California, VIP, blah, 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 blah. That year, I went to San Francisco, I went to the Museum of Science, we went to like 2 or 3 museums, we went to San Diego, we went to the beach 2 or 3 times, we went to several different beaches, we went up to Washington, we went up to Oregon, we went to Arizona once, Utah like 3 times, maybe 4, I can't remember, I think 3, because we kept going for Evermore to go dress up for that. We went to Vegas like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I don't even know freaking how many times we've been to Vegas now. And I'm talking like rooms overlooking the Bellagio water fountain, perfect. I'm talking like staying up till 4 in the morning and you put $20 in and you're winning $300 and your husband's winning $300 and everybody's just winning money left and right and you can't even spend it because you're like, you spend it and then you win it. This is the kind of shit that Magick has been doing for me. And do I think that I am gonna have this luck if I didn't do it? No, I don't, because I lived my life without doing it. I lived my life basically rejecting that part of myself. You know, I've always prayed and stuff, but I always knew there was more. I've always been drawn to stones and crystals. I've always been drawn to plants and herbs and been like, but what do they do? And people would be like, what do you mean what they do? They're pretty. I'm like, no, but this flower does something, doesn't it? You know, what does the rock do? Doesn't it do something? And they're like, no, it's a rock. And now people are, you know, new age and everything. They're like, this stone can change your life. And I'm like, it probably freaking can if you use it right. You know? Oh, man. So anyways, how Magick has just changed my life has helped me financially. It's given me confidence. It's protected me. I had people try to kill me, more than just the one dude. It feels like every 2 years. I don't know. Whatever. People be jealous. They can fuck off. Every person who's ever fucked with me, the shit that goes back to them is so much worse. And the thing was, I don't ever wish that anything bad happened to them. I just simply say it's not for me, whatever they sent for me, so let's just return to sender, whatever this shit is. And it hits them like a train. The one person who, after we got in a car accident, they got in like 7 car accidents, like in a month. That's wild. How many people? And then their ceiling caved in on them while they were doing their makeup and all this shit. And then they came to me like, can you help me? And I'm thinking, I mean, if it hit you that hard, then that means you're the one who tried to get me killed in a car accident. So yeah, I'll help you because I'm a better person than you because I care about people. But maybe you should be nicer. You know what I mean? And then I always follow that up with sending my enemies love, because I always feel like if they're trying to be jealous and they're trying to fuck with me and they're trying to hurt me, they must really hate their life. And somewhere in their brain they think I don't have pain of my own. Or somewhere in their brain they think I don't have things that aren't going good for me or that I regret, you know? And it's like we all have those things. I cry every day about my Juju and about my Sydney Wiggles and about my grandma's being gone and my grandpa's being gone. Every day. Every single day. You know what I mean? I could do something to get that pain gone, but I don't want to because that's mine. You know what I mean? And I'm not ready to let that go yet, you know? But it's like we all have things that can cause us depression and hurt and pain and sadness, and there are things we can do to better those things. There are things we can do to bring more money into the house. When you're doing money magic, you're not saying, oh, thank you so much for, you know, giving me 20 more hours at work even though I'm so tired and I don't even want to be at work anymore. That's not what you're saying. You're saying thank you so much that my bills are paid and I have extra pocket money and I'm happy and this and that. Next thing you know, money comes from a different place that didn't even have nothing to do with you going in for 6 or 8 hours in this job that you fucking hate. And you have your bills paid and you feel satisfied and you feel fulfilled and all of a sudden you have extra money and you can spend it freely on not just yourself but on other people. It was really weird. It sounded like somebody was right there, but there was no one there. Anyways, his house be haunted too. It's whatever at this point. But, anyways, yeah, so you can get into this motion where it's like money does come easily and frequently, and you can spend it happily. You're not holding on to your last $5 with, like, you know, death grip. You know that when you give it out, it's coming back, and it's coming back more, 3 times more than what you spent. And you can happily share with people because you know what you're giving out is coming back to you energetically somehow. Maybe not from them, but from some other source. And then I think that magic gives me hope. I've used magic on healing for people, and sometimes it works better than others, but I think ultimately that doesn't matter. I think ultimately it's up to God no matter what. But that when we do partition for somebody who is sick or possibly on their deathbed, that the spirits do hear, they do take that upstairs, if you'll call it that, or downstairs if that's where they are, or wherever, and it basically is like, hey, you know, somebody's on the juror that's voting let this guy live, or somebody's on the juror saying give this person another shot. And I've seen miraculous things happen with that too, and it's given me and the people that the readings have come from and the candles were done for faith and healing in a time when they felt like they could do nothing, because they can only do so much when the doctors have control. But sometimes just having that candle lit and knowing that somebody is out there praying for the person you love, or that somebody has, you know, put good energy or good whatever towards that person and is trying everything, because that's what we would do for somebody we love, right? We try anything and everything. And a lot of times people are like, well, man, I wish I had a magic wand. Well, what if you did? What if you do? What if you are? What if you are the magic wand and you are capable of projecting that healing energy and getting that person on the other side to, you know, stay on this side? Because I feel like when people are in comas and stuff like that, they're not necessarily in their body. They're probably off dealing with things, you know, deciding and going through their own trials and tribulations. Not always, but a lot of times. So anyways, okay. So then there's that. It's just helped me I've always been kind of a fearless person, but it's just helped me overall to be compassionate to other people, because I had a lot of times where people were not compassionate to me, and it left me kind of hard. It really did. And it's like that old, like, I hate country, but it's like, I'm on a heart in my heart, I'm gonna swallow my tears, I'm gonna turn and leave you here. Like, that's like where I went in my life, you know, and I fucking, that, just like, I'm not gonna let anybody in. If you're not fucking in already, you can't, and if you're in there already, you're trapped, you know, kind of a thing. And that's not a good place for anybody to be. It doesn't feel good when you want love and acceptance and you want appreciation and you just can't let anybody in, because you're afraid that if you do, you're gonna get hurt again. And I feel like magic has healed wounds between my mother and I. I feel like I've done some protection on some friends and family that they really needed it. I've done love magic for people that needed that little push, not to make any one or two people fall in love, but that they can open their heart to the right person and be in the right situation at the right time. And the results that I have seen have been breathtaking. And sometimes I get clients that write me things like, I got one, maybe, I wish I could say her name, but anyways, she's in New York, one of my clients in New York. I told her maybe 2 or 3 years ago that, look, this person isn't going to come around for like 2 or 3 years, and you have to change X, Y, and Z so that they can change X, Y, and Z. That's not what she wanted to hear. It's not what I wanted to say. You think I wanted to say that? I didn't even want to say it. And then here we are 2 or 3 years later. I'm really bad at math. And she wrote me, and I could post it and just scribble it out, you know, on my thing. Maybe I'll do that. I'll post it as like a comment with like her name and everything scribbled out. But she said she reread all of this stuff because she kept journals as we did our reading. She said that every single thing that I had said has come true. And she listed a bunch of them. I'm not going to list them here now, but it was, you know, it was like somebody left, somebody else, da da da. And basically she was like, every single thing you said would happen has happened. And it took a long time, like you said it would, but now we're here, and I want to know what's next. And that confirmation that, yeah, sometimes when it's a long haul reading, it's still coming through true. It's like, that's the long haul reading. That's scary. It's scary to even have to, when it comes across and I'm like, fuck, you want me to say that? You know, because that's, no one wants to say, oh yeah, in 3 years they're going to be there. Buckle down until then. Probably don't date that often, and, you know, do a lot of self-improvement. No one wants to hear that. So anyways, but when that confirmation came through and I read that message from that client, I was over the moon, because I was like, I need to hear that. And I get those confirmations, but I've never had a reading that I was like, literally in 3 years, this is what's going to happen. And that was my very first one I've done like that. And getting that confirmation from her was just like, wow. Because it helped her too. And that's the thing I think I love about Magick the most, is just that it is love if you choose it to be love, and it can help if you choose it to help. You do not have to do bad things. My mom asked me one time, she's all, Shaenna, how come you don't do revenge magic? And I said, I don't do revenge magic. I do revenge magic all the time. She's all, no you don't. And I said, yes I do, Mom. I said, I do shit for me. I do love on me and my husband. I do prosperity magic for me and my family. I do health magic for me and my family, because the best revenge at the end of the day is living a happy life and having success and just being healthy and enjoying yourself. I don't have to walk around pissed. I don't have to walk around wondering who's talking crap on me. It doesn't matter. I don't have to walk around wondering who's casting spells or whatever. I feel protected. I am confident that it's going to bounce back and punch him in the face on its own without me doing anything. You know, and heaven forbid I should feel a little something and send something back their way, I'm going to send them love with it too, because that's the kind of person I am, and I want their heart to heal so that they can progress as people and that they can have a happy life. Because at the end of the day, that's what I want. I don't want a bunch of war. I want a bunch of gardens everywhere. I want a bunch of warriors in a garden, you know, instead of this gardeners all trying to go to war all the time. Anyways, if you notice I got shit all over my hands, it's because I'm working on that doll and I tried to get it off, and it's just like stuck on there, so that's what it is. Oh, look how she's... I got some more painting to do. I'm getting scary! I like her hair. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this. I love you all so much. I hope this was helpful. If you have been thinking about getting into magic or practicing your own version of spirituality or your own kind of craft, I say do it. If you're not doing something that's hurting someone, do it. Do I believe in the rule of three? Kinda, not really. Do I think that money magic is a bad thing to get started? No, I don't. I just think that money magic is the same as any other form of getting money. And if you do money magic, you're going to have to do it on a somewhat regular basis, because you're going to spend that money. So the money's going to be gone with the energy that went with it. So do more money magic and just kind of keep that up like you would anything else. Hello, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody. So anyways, there's that. And then is love magic bad? No, I don't think so. But if you're going to do love magic, say this. Do you promise and swear to yourself that you are in love with that person and that you are going to be there for them no matter what, and that you are going to be dedicated to them for their entire life? Because the thing about love magic is it really works. And they will be with you they'll just only want you forever, right? So if you decide, I don't really want you anymore, that doesn't work like that. Now, they're miserable because they're obsessed with you and you don't want them anymore. So just don't fuck with love magic unless you know that no one will love that person more than you will, and you need them in your life forever. And then think about what you're saying before you say it. Don't just be vague in it. Be really thoughtful on the things that you say, and throw in there how you're going to treat them too and what you're going to do for them. Because it is a two-way street if you want it to be a successful one and you want it to be one that's filled with love. So there is that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me. I am open for readings. I range from about 55 to 222. And then there's some middle range stuff. Just DM me on that. And yeah, okay, love you all. Goodbye.